Man, you already know what time it is, baby. Ba, 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 ba. It's that live, baby. We got some of the top coaches in the collegiate field and also in the private sector showing up today. We're going to be discussing what we always discuss this time of the year. We're going to be talking about progression. So you know I'm going to bring in my family. I'm going to bring in the Boston University head coach, Gabe Sanders, as well as I'm going to bring in Trey Peppers, one of the top coaches in the country, working with youth and developed the top fastest guy last year, Justin Braun. And I'm gonna bring in my little homie, the former German national hurdle coach, Marlon Odom. So it's going down today, baby. Let me go ahead and get the gang in here. It's on and popping, baby. If you thought it was gonna be slight, it's the wrong place, baby. Guys, if y'all got questions and
What's the deal?
stuff, just go ahead
Going
and
on,
drop
man?
them inside the comment section. What's the deal, baby? Trying to get my man
What's
in here.
up?
Boom, we all in here now. Let's get it.
Oh, man, I'm doing great, bro.
Let's
Lovely.
see. How you feeling, brother?
Yeah, life is good.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Life has been extremely blessed. Man, go ahead and tell them about how you feel like the progression has went for you indoors coming out from last year. While we wait for everybody else to come in, just kind of give them a concept of how it's been for us. We just got done running a track meet. Kind of inform the folks
Well,
where we
leading
are
into this
at and
first
how we got
meet,
there.
we've had a really good build up to then, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like from what we wanted to get done, we got done. And I felt really, really satisfied with how everybody was moving and picking the pieces up and putting it together. So the first one meet, we was just trying to go in there and see how they execute what they've learned. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's always the first little telltale sign of, okay, how are we looking? And so I felt like, you know what I'm saying, we could have done some things better, but as a overall, I feel like everybody learned and understood what they still are missing. You know what I'm saying? And I think it gives us a nice little time to make an adjustment and be ready for, that Arkansas meet that's coming up next month.
What's going on?
What's
There you go,
going
facts.
on?
So,
Man?
like,
What's up,
from a
Marlon?
percentage base,
What's
what's
going
up,
on,
baby? What's
man?
up, pimp? Ain't nothing, ain't
I'm
nothing.
always
Well, how you
moving,
gonna
baby.
go from the kitchen to the car, dog? What's up, man? It's too loud in there? I, that's facts. That's facts, though. That's facts. Um, So we were just chopping it up, talking about just progression, and me and you discussed this already. We do this every single year, so people don't act brand new out here. You know what we about to do. We're gonna just talk about some of the positive things that we see that's happening in the community, as well as some of the positive things that we've seen in our own program. Also talk about the connections between colleges, because
Mm,
most of the kids that are in college are now going back home, and they have to go back to coaches like me and Marlon, and go back to Coach Pep as well to get back to training for that 6 weeks before they run January 15th. So that's a long time before you compete
yeah,
again. Most of these collegiates usually ran the December meet or some type of early meet. So these kids are actually in competitive mode, and then they have to be off from competition from
I'm
six
actually gonna
weeks.
be
So
fully
Coach Pep, how do you
honest.
deal
I'm
with
not
that,
gonna
man?
hit a lot of my kids because none of them are coming home. Justin's gonna
mm,
stay in California. His mom actually is going over to see him. My kids in Ohio are going out of town with their families. I got a kid at Ole Miss. The only kid I think I'm gonna have here is my boy Denzel from Florida State. So he'll probably be doing a little bit of stuff with us, just some speed stuff and some 1080 stuff. But most of the workouts that he does is prescribed by his coaches, so we just oversee him at this point. And I really don't want
yeah.
to
What's up,
get
Camilla?
get too much into
What's up,
going
Camilla?
against what they got going on. So whatever the coach prescribes, we'll just oversee it at this point.
Hmm.
Yeah, same here. And Finiso just came in recently from Harvard. Kevin sent some workouts, and only thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust for the weather because they got indoor facilities.
Right.
So it's not like I can run straight up fast runs if it's too cold outside. So that's probably the only
Mm.
adjustment that we would make would be like weather precautions and stuff like that. Outside of that, no, we like to stay on the same script and at least the same path that they was on. And
Yeah, we're Gabe, man.
yeah,
He ran from us.
hold on, I'm trying to get Gabe up in here.
I know he ain't even
he's
in
main
here.
one getting turned up. He got me turned up. Shoot, might as well. Let me add in JB, see if he can get added in. Cause I tried to add him in twice, he wouldn't get in.
So let
Yes,
me. So
sir.
what did you see
But
at the track meet this past week, Will? I know we had a conversation about that, and I've seen a lot of things, and I just kind of want your thoughts on what you've seen as far as. What's
Yo,
up, JB?
what's
What's
up? What's
going on,
up?
man?
What up, baby?
How y'all doing?
What's up, King
what's the
Summer?
deal?
Good, man.
What's,
Hey, what you
what's up,
got
Angela?
here?
Shout out to Track Mom Texas. Y'all
Coach, this my
follow her. Make sure
little,
you
this my
follow her.
little
She's part of the
comfy thing.
gang.
Oh, okay. Hey,
It's my drip, Coach.
did you forget that
My
we
drip
got
coach.
the 3 hours difference in time, baby? You texted me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Coach, I mean, you're usually up that late, though.
I'll play
Well, you know you already look.
Somebody knowing, Coach,
Boy,
up that late.
what's going on, though?
Nah, I mean, we had practice this morning. Shoot. So I'm
What
coming
y'all
back off some
do?
stuff,
Tell me
so
about the
Coach is
practice
still
this
kind of
morning.
weaving me in. But, what? Today we had some twos. Nothing crazy, but I think it was like
Two? How many
maybe
twos y'all
4 or
did?
5 total. But nah, it was.
Okay.
I got to work out with Michael
What
today,
pace?
so I felt kind of cool. But nah, but it was a good little session.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Did Mike do you bad?
No, it was smooth.
Oh,
That's what's
okay.
up.
What
You,
was the pace and rest and all that stuff?
you said what, Coach?
What was the pace and rest and all that?
It went from 90 seconds to like 2 minutes ish. The pace, we were just kind of going, honestly. I think it was off the clock today. Coach wasn't even telling us.
What y'all was hitting though? 22s,
Yeah,
23s?
it really wasn't nothing crazy.
Yeah, so y'all just looking good running,
Yeah.
huh? Okay. Just kept it technically solid. That's what's up.
No, for sure.
That's
Had
what's up.
to come say
Well,
what's
shoot, we
up.
just tapping in with you, brothers, and saying what's
What's up,
up.
man? Yeah, take care of yourself,
I'm gonna
man.
keep
Yeah,
watching
man.
though.
Stay cozy, family.
All
Stay
right,
cozy.
what's up?
All right, family. I'm gonna add on Gabe. See, let me get Gabe in here. Shout out to my man JB. So it's about to go down for him in freshman year. I think it's gonna be some big
Justin
things
is Justin,
popping. What you
man.
think?
He works
Pep?
hard. He got a killer mentality. So if he's 100%, the NCAA gonna be in trouble. I mean, that's just my thoughts. I might be a little biased. I do love the kid, so but he the real deal. I think he's gonna go 44 mid to low this year easily.
Oof, yeah, I'm loving it.
44 mid to low. He should go. I think he will.
You say he been do what now?
44 mid to 44 low.
Say it again. Yeah. I just want to make sure everybody heard that.
If he's healthy, he's going 44 mid to low. That boy different.
No doubt. I believe it. That should be that's the topic of the conversation. Let me charge my headphones.
What's going on,
That's the
brother?
topic of the
I don't know.
conversation. We got Gabe on
I
here
mean,
now, so we
I'll
can
be
really
good
get
for
deep
knee
into
deep,
it.
maybe waist deep at best
So
today.
yeah, we're not doing too much today. We're gonna keep it about because we gotta head out to a farewell
Yeah.
party for
Beautiful.
our pro athletes that are heading back to Germany. So we had two of our German athletes came in. So we got a little farewell party to get ready for. But on the progression tip, and I think we started this conversation offline. For you being a college coach, just explain the experience that you're having the last few weeks. Sending your kids back home and getting them periodized and talking them through how they can maintain their progression so they don't come back January 15th or
And
16th
either a
looking
shade
like
or a
a shade of
rough,
who they used to be. You know what I
rough
mean?
draft, right? No, I mean it's so many of us in the collegiate scene face this every
Yeah.
single year. It's you get to that sweet spot, mid to late November, things are hot. You start to enter that late special prep. where you get to do like the fun workouts, you get some of like those harder 200s in, you start getting out the lasers, and you're getting the fly 30s, the fly 40s out, you know, a few fast 150s here and there. It's like, oh, you're starting to see something. You know, you might have a time trial, an inner squad. In many cases now, the new thing to do on the regular is a December 3rd or December 10th meet, right? They do well. Like, we opened up nicely. We had a couple school records in the 300. We had one girl go 37.4 for 300, right? And you see things like that.
Wow.
In the
What did she run last year?
54.8
What did she run last year?
So she
Outdoors
has
in
had
the four.
quite the come up, quite the come up. That could be a whole nother discussion, but you know, you got things like that happen. You got people open up with lifetime bests or lifetime best openers, etc., and then finals, and then they go home for break, and you know, in some situations you lose them for as little as 2.5 weeks to as long as I've had coaches lose them for 6 weeks, right? So they're not under your care anymore. But what you would hope, what you've established is a baseline for this is how we do things. This is how we roll. This is how we operate. Straight up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is your job. And this is something I said to a lot of our kids is, you guys are on the clock. Whether you're, you know, down the street and you live in Brookline here, or you're going off on a cruise to Brazil, you are literally on the clock. If you're on the basketball team, you would have maybe 4 days away from campus, and then you got a game when you get back.
Right.
So we're on the clock right now, whether you like it or not. So you got to figure it out. I'll help you out. Let me know what's available to you. Like, you know, are you going to have access to an indoor track? Is it going to be warm? Are you down in Texas or Florida or out in California? You got an outdoor track. What kind of weight room do you have? Are you going to be out in the jungle? Are you going to be in knee-deep snow when you got to deal with your basement? You let me know, and I can help you navigate it. And as an extension, in a lot of cases, I might be having communication with your club coach or your high school coach that you're going to go back with, your club team, because I don't have an ego that says, no, you're with me now, you can't go back to him or her, because at the end of the day, that person or that group helped you get to me. So I'd like to think we should, at this point, it's not just a passing of the torch, but a bridge has been built, right? So you can go back and forth over the bridge and over the highway. So one of my greatest athletes, or some of my greatest allies, are, you know, people in the trenches at the clubs, at the club level, the high school level. You know, that makes sense. Like, it's not about having an ego, it's about having a team and a community and a village, right? Our sport is a village. So the best thing that I can do is take care of the people in the village, take care of the community, because we're all trying to help each other. And I've even said on some occasions, like, look, I'm going to send this person what they should be doing over the break. I'll give you a copy. And there might be a day where, hey, the club, if I say, look, I want him to do 30, 40, 50 times 3, and the club is doing 3 by 4 by 40, do 3 by 4 by 40. That's fine. That's basically the same thing. Go ahead and do that. If I say, look, I think it's 350, 250, 150, and y'all doing a 320 and 3 by 120, do the 300, 350, 3 by, okay, that's fine. So they're not alone on an island. So that's a real help to me, you know, not just me personally, Gabe Sanders, but me as in the collegiate scene, knowing that our young people are being looked after away from home here.
Yeah. Especially with the.
That's facts. Now let's get to the controversial part of it, right? What if you get to a program where they're doing crazy stuff, like, hey, we're gonna run 600s now that we came back home. I think you need to get your endurance up, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, you know, and that's quite common. You know, I just made a few posts about that. So how do you deal with that situation with your kids? Like, if you know they're already ready to run, they've been running, and then they're sending them home to a place where they want to make them 800 runner, you know what I'm saying, with the practices. How do you go about that?
This is what we are doing, because again, you are on the clock for Boston University or Southwest State or, you know, State College or whatever, right? You're on the clock for us. So at the end of the day, the expectation is you follow the line of our programming that you've been doing for the last 3 months to as many as 3 years in some cases. Like, that's the expectation. I respect what your club and whatnot is doing, and you are a representative of that community, but this is what you're expected to do at this point. I can't have any control over that, but
No, it's an
that's
accountability
yeah,
factor.
100%. It's accountability and just clear-cut communication.
Yeah.
Facts. So have you ever had an issue where the kid lied to you and then they come back and you can see it off their running, and then they
Sure.
tell you after they ran terrible and like, yeah,
Sure. That's happened a couple times, but I'll tell you what, with each kid that's happened to, it only happened once.
Yeah. I mean, one way, I don't know how y'all do it in Boston, but like our coaches would test us. Right when we got back, we had it was a program that we did. It was 4 times 250 meters. And you had I think about a 2-minute or 2.5-minute break between them. And they had to be under, I want to say like 28 seconds. And so that was a way that he tested us out coming back from a break to see if we actually did the homework. You know what I'm saying? If everybody handled what they were supposed to handle. And that was right before the first meet. So I don't know how y'all do it. Is there any kind of test that you may do, or is there something that you do to kind of see, or you just say, hey, you're going to get exposed? That's what I'm saying.
They got to track me. They pull up to a meet.
I mean, for us, when we get back, we're going to have 10 days. We get back on the 9th. We start training on the 10th, and we got to meet on the 21st. So, and by the way, we got a 6-week season. Everyone thinks, oh, we got this massive indoor season. Like, nope, we get back, and for us, it's Beantown, Terrier, Scarlet and White, Valentine, week off, conference. And then if the best ones that do their homework, NCAA's 2 weeks after that. So it really what it comes down to is, are we going to come in and are we going to have the season that we earned in the fall, or are we going to be building in and resetting for outdoor? That's really what it comes down to. There's only so much ground that I can make up if you put us behind by 3 weeks.
No, that's real. I respect that. I'm glad you said that. And that really brings it all in. Cause even for us we work with, private, pro athletes. Then we also work with the collegiates that come back, but then we have high school athletes. And then some of the high school athletes may be a little bit behind, just to say something might occur. They might have had an injury or something. And then they're going to take a little bit while longer. Like I sat out one of our fastest athletes, matter of fact, the one that you're looking at, Brooke, I sat her out because her hip flexors was a little tight. So we said, you know what, it's the early season. I'm not going to run you at the moment. Let's just chill because we can make it up later on in the later half of indoor, Plus we're Texas. We don't care about indoor. We're all about outdoors, So no, I definitely love the way that you stated that, as far as if you're most kids, and if you're listening to this, the part that I would like most people to grasp, collegiate or whatever you are, is that there is a process to this. And then if you slow it up, there's nothing we can do there's not much we can do to meet you back again. So you're peaking, and where we had set you to peak, you're not in that same range anymore, and we may have to either delay your running or change the way we train, a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, you want to be on schedule, because as a coach in a program, even in our program, we can only do about 1 to 2 one-offs, and after that, you just
telltale sign, and I know so many coaches can relate to me on this, is those that kind of know, whether they consciously know or they subconsciously know, by the time it starts to get hot and heavy, they want to do all this extra stuff. Like, oh, coach, I want to, can I get in the weight room this week? Oh, can I do a little bit extra tempo? Or like you find out through the grapevine that they do an extra workout here or there. And it's like,
that's the nervous energy.
That's that nervous energy. That's that security blanket of, I got to do
energy.
more work. I got to do the work that I didn't do however long ago, right? Like,
and that's very common. I'll give you an example, and I'm not trying to put my girl out, but she had the Felicia just came back from Harvard. Harvard, they're finishing their finals and all that stuff. And she was like, man, practice was off during that week. I had to miss a lot and do stuff. She's like, Coach, she called me today, was like, Coach, can we do the longer workout? Start off with the longer workout? I said, saying ain't request a workout day. What you talking about? Like, man, what you talking about? I was like, let me do the coaching part, but I'm very vocal and communicative. And I explained to her, I said, this is the reason why we're not going to do this, and this is the reason why we're going to do this. This is off a Keba sheet. I feel like this is more important at the moment because this is what, this is the weather for one. You know what I mean? And this is the number two is that you're just now getting off of a plane. You got to get your body acclimated. So we shouldn't just be smashing you with things at the moment. You know what I mean? There was a lot of small things that she started listening to, and she was like, okay. I mean, my biggest concern is more of a mental aspect, which is like, you're coming from school, Harvard, academics, and I don't care what school you're coming from. You got finals.
Yes.
Even in high school. Once you've got done with that, you're psychologically burnt, right? And then it's a holiday. So why don't you spend some time? We already train every day. We already are away from our families. Why don't you spend some time, stay consistent with your training, of course, but just spend some time and focus on the stuff that helps you defrag, the things that make you feel positive. Because me and Marlon are big on this. Like, if you're not spiritually balanced, this is a spiritual sport, man. This is you coming from the insides to put this out on the track. And specifically for college, most high school kids don't understand you are kidnapped to the season. The moment you step back on campus on January 15th, there will be nothing but running going on. You feel me? Straight running and lifting, traveling off of a plane, doing homework, learning a new class, and running, homie.
And
running,
I think a
running.
good way
I'm
to
talking
put it
about
this time of
prelims,
year
finals,
really is
prelims,
get
finals.
right time. And get right time is physical, mental, spiritual, psychological, all those things. It's the perfect time of year to do that. So when I say like, we're on the clock, we are on the clock, but that doesn't mean we're grinding every single day. Sometimes the hardest training that you can do and the best training you can do is to rest. So when I build in rests, like, I don't want you doing extra plyometric circuits that day. That's also not your excuse to be out until 2-3 o'clock with the people that you haven't seen in however many months. Like, that's not an excuse for that. But it is time to enjoy your time at home, to not have the burden. I don't like to use that word burden of school, but that piece of your life that is not as hard and as demanding. Like, enjoy that time. And when the sheet says get to work, get to work. When the sheet says light tempo, general strength, yoga, restoration series, go in on that. Simple as it. When the sheet says Merry Christmas, enjoy your day, have a cup of hot cocoa, get 2 hot cups of cocoa.
A lot of times it's just like the
No, I totally agree
kind of
with
what we
that.
go by, Will. It's just less is
I
more.
totally agree.
You know what I mean? You got to know when less is more. If you've done the work and you put in all the, the hours and that everything is lined up, there's no reason to have to overdo anything. You know what I'm saying? It's just about keeping it. Yeah.
I mean, we literally taking today off. Like, we're off today, because it's cold. You know what I'm saying? And plus, we could have got something in, and we could have did some things and got it working or whatever you want to talk, and let's go for it. You know what I mean? But bruh, I'm tired just like they tired. And plus, at the end of the day, when they're recovered and I'm recovered, we work at our best. We work at our best because a lot of stuff that we're doing specifically now is more technical based. It's more speed based, quality based. It's all quality. So if you don't have quality, then you're not getting better.
It really is very binary. Like, especially this
necessary.
time of year moving forward, training must become very, very binary. Like, I was just at the convention, as most of my colleagues were last week, and a really cool thing that Booth said, a lot of things that happen with overreaching, overtraining, what have you, and this can even lead into plan Bs. Like, it doesn't mean doing a lot of like low level stuff. It just means taking more time between your intense days, because the intensity cannot disappear. Like, we've got to work in that 90+ percentile range. Whether it's intensity, speed, velocity, or it's in the weight room by weights, then like heavy squats, heavy cleans, whether it's plyometrics, like that must be present. But if you are feeling like coming off the finals, coming off of the fall season, like a little overburdened, that doesn't mean you take a week off or 2 weeks off of like doing no high intensity work. It just means instead of maybe going 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, it might mean going Monday, Thursday. It might mean going Monday, Friday of high intense work. That's it. Just lower the volume and lower the density of the intense work, but it's still present. It must be present, because when you get back, it's a wrap.
Yeah. You can't mess up the programming. Like if you've already programmed your body to move like
Yes.
that, you can't mess the
Yep.
programming up. So that's what the
That-
active recovery days come into play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that between your recovery is actually more important than anything else.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Because if like I said, as long as you're not overshooting your central nervous system in the as you go through it, you're gonna be ready to handle business when it comes time to line up.
Champion Allison, what's up, brother? What questions do you have? Shout out to Champion, local hero out here, big timer. The topic, Champion, what's the topic? We're talking about progression through the year. So what we're trying to do with this live specifically, because we do this every single year, we want to make sure that, for coaches, that if there's any coaches that need reaffirmation, reconfirmation, or anything, or hell, redirection, on how to approach progression from indoor coming to outdoor, as well as discussing the transition between now coming into the competition phase of indoor. So realistically, we're just discussing that and giving people, families, and whoever may be listening, kind of a window in from multiple minds of, how does this work? How do we do this properly? For kids, for athletes, what should I focus on? Like Coach was saying, should I do more? Should I do less? Should I follow the script? These are the things that we're trying to make sure that we are being concise on, because we don't want to leave anything for a gray out here, because we want our athletes and all the people that follow us to be successful. So that's the topic. That's the topic today, is really progression. So that's the main topic. So back to what we were saying though. As far as progression, and I just dropped that post where I was talking about. I dropped so many posts, I forgot what I was talking about. What were we talking about? Oh, indoors. So we were talking about indoors and just discussing how much I was talking about flat tracks and bank tracks and things of that nature. But I don't think people take into account the macro perspective of periodization, meaning what pays the bills. You feel me? At the end of the day, if I totally flopped indoor, right, and just flopped my butt off, but I came outside, made NCs, I really doubt I'm losing my scholarship. And I really doubt that Coach Gabe is going to be mad with me that I didn't make it to NCs indoors, but made it to NCs outdoors. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think the bigger picture for everybody is you're setting yourself to go outside. Don't jeopardize outside for inside. I'm seeing a lot of specifically club coaches that are out here beating their chest, yeah, man, my boy just ran 682, man. I'm about to hit to this next meet, drop a 6.7. And then we go outside, your kid running 10.6, you know what I mean? 10.5, you know what I mean? Or I gave you strong examples from last year. We had girls last year, not our girls specifically, but other girls who ran 54 indoors, ran 54 outdoors. Girls ran 23.9 indoors, ran 23.9 outdoors. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. That's primarily either the kids not doing what they're supposed to do or the coach is not periodizing them correctly. It's one or the other. I can't control kids, but I can talk about periodization. You know what I mean? So if they did follow the right periodization from a kid that runs 23.9, Gabe, what you think they should be running?
At least 23
outdoors.
mid to low, I'd think. But here's my thing. In most cases, when I see something like that, if it's just a periodization thing, my question is, based on the training that you were doing late fall and during the indoor season, where were you able to go in training? Because in most cases, we're maximizing special endurance. If you're looking good indoors, but you're not progressing through the outdoor season, usually, again, we've talked about this ad nauseum before, but there likely was not enough attention paid to flat out just speed endurance, flat out race modeling is probably a lot of special endurance all the time. Whether it's 2-3 days a week, a lot of volume, because if you're not developing that top end speed in conjunction with special endurance, because obviously you got to be race ready, obviously, it has to be balanced. But if you're overemphasizing special and specific endurance for the majority of your training period, there's nowhere to go, right? There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to progress to, right? So that's my thing.
No, it isn't.
In most cases, when I see that, I'm thinking if there wasn't a catastrophic injury or if it's the same coach or the same club or whatever it is, there likely was an overemphasis on special endurance and specific endurance, and a very low emphasis, if any emphasis, on actual true speed endurance throughout that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's another thing, and that's another thing that people
Facts.
think they're
Facts.
doing speed
I
endurance. You're not
truly
doing speed
agree with that.
endurance.
I truly agree with
You're
that.
doing special endurance, and there is a threshold, there is a ceiling for that, if that's all you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like speed endurance at the upper
Facts.
echelon is like
That's facts.
120. 120 meters, really
So
80
glad you
meters.
said that, Gabe.
I think
Yeah.
we get, I know for a fact in the trenches, even in
No,
my
fact. It
community,
is.
like
It is.
there's a confusion between speed and special endurance. Speed endurance starts at the low end at 60 meters.
Facts.
At the high end, again, the high end at the world class level, 120. After you get to 120, you start to get into 150. Now we're bleeding
Facts.
in to special endurance. And then
Yeah.
we start
Specific.
talking about 250, 350. Dude, that's speed. That's special endurance too. Like that is race specific work. If I'm doing race specific work all the time, what qualities am I training to improve that? You're not. You're just continuing to rev the engine without going into the garage. Oh,
Exactly.
I just
Yeah.
gave y'all a gem.
And
I just gave y'all a gem.
That's facts.
Hey, Gabe,
That boy jumping bars.
a little more to
Bah, bah,
the
bah,
idea,
bars.
and hopefully there's a lot of like high school kids and young college kids listening. But how important is their nutrition and the things that they put in their bodies? Because, you know, I know that like even Justin going down to USC, one of the things that they told him is that his eating habits is the reason why he's had a nagging injury since he was in 7th grade. So can you speak a little bit on that for the kids to understand like how important what they're putting in their bodies is?
100%. I mean, like, there's the analogy of the fuel that you put in an engine and the oil that you put in a car, and like the refinement that you put into a vehicle. Your body is a vehicle, right? So the fuel that you put in is food and your sleep, right? Those are the two primary physiological inputs. What the product is your tissue quality, the quality of your tissue, your muscles, your tendons, and your joints, right? I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a biologist, but I do know enough that what you put into your body in terms of nutrition and in terms of sleep and rest and recovery has a direct physiological effect on the tissue quality of your body, and therefore your capacity to perform. And let's be honest, there's some genetic freak shows out there that just like, they eat like, my wife hates me for this. I eat a drumstick, I get another ab. That's just how I work. That's how some kids work. We all know those kids, especially high schoolers that have their metabolism is right here in their life. Between 16 and 23 years old. You can do almost anything you want, you'll have a six-pack. But in terms of what the high-end level of tissue quality is and what you're able to do to it will be affected. So yeah, maybe you could eat cereal for dinner because you don't like what they have in the dining hall, and maybe you can still run 47.5. But maybe if you actually figured out what proper protein is, carbs, maybe if you actually negotiated your schedule so you actually try to get 8+ hours of sleep, maybe that 47.5 will get to a 46.8 with the same effort, simply because the tissue quality is that much better, right? Like. That's just how it works. So nutrition is critical. Nutrition is
apparently E Diamond's tissues is made out of fried chicken.
Hey, some people can do that. Some people can do it, and that's great. That's a beautiful anecdote. I'm just telling you what science and biology says. There are plenty of outliers out there, and there are plenty of phenomenal athletes.
No, that's true though. Nah, so I've seen some people that just do whatever. I ain't gonna lie, like I'm gonna put his business out there because he's my cousin. I got that. So Ashton and Aaron Collins, you remember the Collins twins?
Everything.
Man, these dudes was smoking weed and drinking, and then go to the meet and split like 45-1, and then run 20.40 and be killing them. But at the end of the day, though, they never would get to the point where they're going to run 19. They never get to the point where they're going to run 44 something deep. And, you know, the level of professionalism is what it takes. I mean, I talk with, like, and it's hard for college kids. I'm going to keep it real. This is actually a real good conversation. I hope I'm not boo-booing on anybody's college situation, and I hope it ain't Boston's situation. But a lot of these fueling stations don't have all the right things that are really truly necessary. Like, I've seen a few fueling stations that serve green juices that have a lot of chlorophyll in it from a cellular level that'll help them a lot. But I see a lot of stuff that's just like partnered with the school, like G2 Gatorade and all this BS that has high fructose corn syrup. I would much prefer my athlete to have raw, natural foods, as well as, you know, natural things that'll help their body become less inflammatory, create better tissue, have a better gut health, you know what I mean? Things of that nature. I think, you know, there should be a deeper level to this. And also, you have foreign kids. A lot of my kids are from Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, Jamaica, Trinidad, or whatever. A lot of these people's diets don't even correlate with what they're serving at the cafeteria in this situation. So you'll see a lot of them cook. And I'm gonna be real. This is me being Coach Will, doing my thing. I always encourage my kids. It might sound a little racist or culturally incorrect or whatever, but I said, hey, if you find you a Jamaican kid, if you find you a Caribbean kid, or if you find you any other country kid, please try to align yourself in a good relationship with them, because they're going to be cooking. They're going to invite you over. Y'all can enjoy this camaraderie, for one. And for two, you can actually have good nutrition, or at least decent nutrition, comparative to what's available at the CAF or at the UC or whatever.
On anyone in particular. Like, I'll never wag my finger to anyone that says, well, I was able to do this and I did this. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to get at you. All I speak to is from the moment moving forward. So if I'm speaking to someone, I'm not going to talk about your past. I'm talking about, hey, this is just what the science says. It's not my opinion. I have no say in this. That's that's literally how the body works and how it's meant to function. Like, people have studied this for decades upon decades, and anecdotes do not supersede data, and it doesn't supersede how the body works. That's just that's all. That's all I speak to, you know?
I agree. I agree with that. Somebody, World Track News asked a question. He said, how long can you hold your peak speed? I guess he's saying, like, your peak condition. Depending on your base training and depending on how you're training, I would say somewhere between 3 to 4 weeks, at least for us over here. You know, that's how we look at it, 3 to 4 weeks on our side. Now, I've seen some pros extended a lot longer than that, some of them. But realistically, they're just tapering down to get to peak.
I'd like
and then
to
they're
think
starting
that
to
the
hold the
idea
peak a little bit
of
later.
peaking
You know what I mean?
is really an older concept. It's an accessible concept, but really it's more about reloading. And like you're saying, it's periodization. It's periodization because when you think about it, if a dude runs 6:48 for 60 in March and they run 9:8 for 100 meters, 9:9 in June, that's 3 months. And then they run a summer season and they're running 10:0, 10:1, 9:9, then that's 6 months. So, like, you can hold it for a long time. I think you said means like actual race. So peak velocity. So really, again, it just depends on the talent level.
Actual race.
On the athlete.
I mean, it depends on the athlete too. Like, if you watch the Olympics, you've seen that I think Curly was like at 85 meters at max velocity, and then other people were at like 75 meters. So it depends where you reach max at, and that goes into a deeper conversation is how you're approaching your race. Because, you know, we discussed it before on other lives where it's a new thing happening where back in the days, the Maurice Green days and the old days, the stronger, swoller dudes would focus primarily on 0 to 60 and then pretty much just, you know, hang on technically at the back end. And they would be having 30 meters or so to speed maintenance, say. But nowadays, because of the way that athletes are built and the way that the athletes are trained, they're actually spreading out the phases a little bit longer, especially towards the back end of it, to where they're, instead of hitting a 10, like at about 55, they're at like a 9.65 and progressing out. And then they're hitting that max velocity, like I said, at 85 meters or so. So it's less maintenance to be carried. So it's very dependent on the
Yeah.
individual, their weight,
I
how
think
they're
that for the
training,
most part
and what their
sums it up.
capabilities are.
I mean, it can last like on the lower end, less talent anywhere from
Yeah.
10 meters to as long as 35 meters at
Mm-hmm.
the elite level.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, good questions, bro.
You never
So
answered my first question.
what
When
you
I
got,
asked
Pep? I know
about
you got
the
another one. What you got for us,
athletes,
man?
you know, in terms of other kids progressing and stuff like that, because
Oh,
you know we had a track
oh
meet
yeah, my
a couple
bad.
days ago.
My bad.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think my kids did really well. I had some kids open up really, really good. Gabe, you might want to recruit Olivia now. She went 7:42 to open up. Yeah, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and throw that out there. We'll get her
Online,
to
huh? You might want
yeah,
to recruit. Yeah,
open up.
in a dead period, huh?
And we got a
Online, in a
yeah,
dead period, huh? That's what we
yeah.
doing now. So we doing.
Resistance running and all that stuff. And she came out with 7:42, long jump 19 feet, game. Just so you know, real quick. But what you what you seen out there, Will? Because you know, I know me and you talked about this, you know, personally offline. My biggest my biggest thing has always been I'm trying to save all the kids from, you know, the terrible, not the terrible, but just, you know, the uneducated coaches that are high volume, don't understand the idea of speed endurance, special endurance, one and two, tempo, all those things. And I've seen a lot of that this weekend. Some really, really good kids who I know would be a whole lot faster if they were getting the proper training. It's like, how do you deal with talking to people who you feel are coaches that you feel like maybe don't I don't think no coach looks down at me. I think coaches look at me in a way that they're intimidated because you know, I am knowledgeable in the sport. You know, I always have kids that are really, really good. My kids always progress. And you know, I do want the best for all the kids. I think Gabe can tell you he recruited a couple kids this year that I'd never coached before in my life, but they were kids that were in Ohio that I thought were really good, and I thought they needed some
Yeah.
help. You know what I mean? So I can't save everybody, but I'm trying to figure out a way to, you know, reach out to other people to see how, you know, how I can help in a way that maybe, you know, my name isn't being said, but those kids are getting what they need.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I seen recently is similar stuff. Like we just like same with you. I mean, you did incredibly well. Your athletes are doing always successfully well, and they've always progressed. And a lot of good programs. That's the mark of a great program. But every year we see this. I mean, a lot of grandstanding from the coaches, a lot of marketing, a lot of hype. And then you go to the meet, the kid is running slower than when they used to run last year at the same exact time. So you know they not progressed unless they got hurt or something. And even then, it's like, how did you get hurt? What was the cause of that? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what I saw this past week. I mean, from you, I didn't see that. From you, I seen every kid just got faster and faster. But I don't want to call nobody out in Ohio. But, I mean, I've seen some pretty terrible situations out there where it was like, I've seen some kids that ran a lot faster the year before, and then they're running significantly slower or like somewhat near the same exact time. But and a lot of times it's not the time, like it's how are you running this race? You know what I mean? Like you could run somewhat near the same time, but are you running the race correctly? Me and Mon talked about this recently. Like Simone ran the first meet like 7:4 something, then came back. I mean, 8:4 something in the hurdles, and then came back the next meet, like, what is it, a month later or so, like a month later, and ran 8:4 again.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, instead of having her hands like this, her hands was like this. You see what I mean? And it was just coming straight down.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we're thinking outdoor. We're like, this is going to be perfectly fine. We might have not got the same start that we got the first meet, you know what I mean? Or whatever it might have been. But at the end of the day, the setup was correct. So you got to look at it from multiple eyes. Like, I don't want to be in here just talking crazy about somebody because they're running slower. Because
I'll take
that's not
technical
the whole picture.
execution
You got to
over
look at it
just racing
holistically.
and running fast any day, because you can't progress from just racing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Any day, any day. I'll give you an example. Our girls ran good
Yeah, it wasn't good.
time wise, but their execution level is a C minus And we had a hard conversation at practice. They're ranked, I think they're ranked #1 in the country right now. And it doesn't matter to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, that does not matter. You finna get slayed when we go outside and you keep running like this. And you're gonna get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Those two things will occur. And that's our primary focus, is that, you know, progression is something that's holistic. You have to look at the race model. You have to look at how their physicality is progressing. Are their weight to body strength ratio? Is it getting to a good balance? From a psychological level, you should be prepping them for championship meets. Like, are you prepared to line up with somebody that runs just as fast as you? How are we psychologically developing you to do that? A lot of these things are the most important things, and it takes time to do that. So if you didn't plan that out like months ahead, and you didn't pull it up to state thinking these kids are going to react and your training is going to show up, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? So that, back to your answer to your question, I seen some good stuff over there where you was at, and I saw some straight BS out there. You know what I'm saying? And the BS was, for me, watching the videos, I can see it. The times, I don't know, I really don't check for these people's times, but just watching the videos, I've seen some of these highlighted kids who were supposed to be good run terrible. And I had to ask, who's your coach? You know, what's going on? Or what happened? What training are y'all doing that's so different from last year? Because you don't look nothing.
I'm about to head out,
you know what I
y'all.
mean?
Gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'll see you, brother.
Y'all take care.
We're going to ask somebody
All right,
in, and I'm going to go ahead and head out, too. Yes, sir.
Oh man,
Let's put in Banter.
put,
Banter wants to come in.
Joe on there. Joe Brown. Yeah, Joe on here, baby.
No. Yeah.
Joe's in here? Hold on now.
Yeah.
JBS.
Where Joe at? Let me get Joe up in here, dog. Let me see.
Underscore TF. There.
Yeah. That boy looking cool in the hat, boy.
Hey man, I'm at my son's martial arts.
I just invited him.
How y'all doing? Huh?
Hey, sir.
There you go. Hey, what's going
What's
on?
up, baby?
I'm just on daddy mode right now, man.
That's how I
That'll be
feel
me
when
in
I'm
an
around
hour.
you. I'll be on daddy mode.
Okay.
That's my dude. What's
I
up,
was just
baby?
listening in, man. I was just listening in while he's over there doing his thing. He is martial arts, Muay Thai.
Okay, where you at a basketball court or a baseball field?
Nice.
Okay, that's
You gotta
what's up.
introduce my dude.
Elbows and knees.
What did you say? I can't hear you, man.
No, I told Will he gotta introduce you. Everybody don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me introduce everybody officially. So this is Coach Joel Brown, one of the top hurlers, you know, period. I used to watch him when I was a young man. Me and Marlon are very good, you know, very keen on him. Just signed one of my best athletes, period. Probably gonna be the state champion here in the future. I'm really excited, you know, to see my athletes go into that area, because man, Joe's been taking athletes that are like, I ain't gonna say moderate, but they look pretty mid, and they're looking really, really hot. He's got 21 girls and Olympic standard type people. So
Yep.
I just want to put that respect on his
I'll
name.
put
If you
some
don't
respect
know,
on his
Ohio
name,
State is
too. Matter
popping.
of fact,
Make sure
I
you put
looked
some
up to
respect
him
on
even
him.
when I was a coach. I remember, Joe, I don't even know if you remember seeing me down there, but in 2008, I was at Colgate University, and we went down to Orlando for spring break, and I was watching you and David and Brooks, and I actually distinctly remember, like, you were a student of the game, and I did think, like, dude, he's a student of the game. He's not just out here BSing, and it showed. So much props to you, man, for making the transition to athlete to high level coach, dude. You're doing your thing out there, man.
I appreciate it, fellas.
High level coach.
Yeah.
All right, man. We ain't gonna hold you up, family. Go ahead and enjoy your time. All right, family. Yes, sir. Man, much love, dog. I'm not even gonna lie to you. No cap. I was so happy to send my baby over there. You feel me? And that was because of you, Pep. You linked us up.
Right.
I wasn't, you know, we from Texas, so all we see is UT. You know what I mean? And we see things that's local, and they got big stuff around us. But man, if I would have known that he was like who he is, and you know, and his coaching, you know, a lot of athletes were athletes, but he actually is a student of the game, and you know, just the way that he conducts himself as a man and his integrity, how he approaches things. I just love that his coaching style fits our, our type of athlete,
about it is
basically.
being in the Midwest. Gabe
No
understands
doubt
this. When it's
about
cold,
it.
nobody want to go to the cold. They always want to go to Florida and Texas and California and Arizona, all these spots. But I mean, you take a girl running 24 low, 23 high in high school to 21. What she run? 21.8 Olympic trials.
21.8.
That's something different. You know what I mean? It's something different. I mean,
21.8.
I got a girl there. She was running 24.
That's totally different.
3 and 2 in high school. She's only trained 1 year under Joe and came out in 23.2 the first time she ran the 200. Went 52 low in the 400. And that was coming off an injury for the entire indoor season. And then didn't even get to run until like the third or fourth meet outdoor. So Joe is different, man. Especially when he gets kids that actually want to train. I know he's recruiting kids from Ohio that were amazing kids in high school but didn't want to run track in college. Just went to college just to get the education and said he graduated from Ohio State. One of them was an Olympic type runner. He went there as a 400-meter runner, and when he got there, he said, "I've never run the 400," and he didn't. In Ohio, he ran 40. He went 46 low in Ohio. So I mean, that's, no training in the wintertime, no facilities, none of that. He running on treadmills and all that crazy stuff. It went 46 mid to low in Ohio and got to Ohio State and didn't want to run. So I mean, like, I'm sure that you're under the same type of restrictions. You just can't take kid scholarship. This ain't the SEC. When you get signed, you sign. It ain't no, and it's 4 years. There ain't no year. You get it all. So they can't take their scholarship. They just got to deal with what they get. So Joe is a monster, and the staff. Hopefully, Ohio State is. They understand what they got in that dude.
Thanks.
Hey, the take home is you can run fast in the cold, by the way.
I mean,
facts. Big old facts. I mean, y'all got the indoor facilities, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it gets cold here too. So it's not like, I mean, I can't practice today because it's cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're in the same situation.
50 something, man. We be outside in
40 something, I think, 50 something. Boy, please. But you gotta understand, we got humidity down. The humidity is like having a blanket of cold on us. It's humid out here. It's totally different. Ain't that crisp air y'all be having?
That's facts.
We going
Facts.
That's crazy, dog. But no, for sure though. I actually love it though. I like the fact, it leaves the opportunity for us to get to these better coaches. I think I'm gonna, end the live on that so y'all get back to your family. We gotta also leave. But I think that, there is a new rising of elite coaches, and that the market is opening itself up to that because of the portal, and because of the, all these different business aspects of college athletics is allowing upper echelon coaches to be promoted a lot faster and to grow in a lot quicker manner. Back in the days, it's still today. It's about who you know, who agrees with you, who don't agree with you, who feels that you're going to comply, who's not going to comply, who has the longest, rap sheet. And, it's all of these type of things. It's still similar to that, but now we're seeing more abilities for elite coaches to receive the right athletes and match. For me and my athletes, I coach my athletes and teach my athletes to don't go label shopping, but go person shopping. Find the environment, find the place that fits you, find the person that speaks to your spirit, speaks to you as an individual. And, I mean, me, Gabe, I got some girls, and some guys that I feel like you would be the perfect coach. And I do a lot of, promoting of you as a person more than I even do of your training. And not saying that your training is, high level. I think the training is the entry level. Like, if you're a good coach and you know what you're talking about, now you're in the book of, I can, match you with my kids. So that's the entry level court position. But now I need to find the right person that fits this individual and their temperance, their coaching style, their communication style, and all these different aspects. And that's what I'm noticing now. We're getting a lot deeper into the connections. And I think that's, for me at least, I don't have many athletes that just transfer, you know what I mean? Because we try to do our best
Actually,
to
I was talking to some colleagues
the
at
right
the convention
people
about
the first time, you know what I mean?
Some guys were humming and hawing about, kids that they can't stand and X, Y, Z. And at the end of the day, it's like, well, dude, you recruit your own problems. You know, that to me, that just says we didn't do a good enough due diligence in the recruiting process to make sure that it was a good fit. And then we started to talk about fit, and I said, well, here's the thing. You still
That's
got to
facts.
run fast. At the end of the day, a kid can be a great fit, but there is like a speed agenda. So at the end of the day, it's about finding the right fast fit. Let's find a fast fit for who's going to work with us. Because I've had to walk away from some kids. I'm like, I don't think this is going to be a fit. I don't think this is going to be a fit. I can't do everything that they're asking me to do, from whether it's an NIL perspective, whether that is a lack of study hall perspective, or whatever that looks like, or I only want to take 3 classes. Like, I don't think this is going to fit, right? But if it's a good fit, you want to run fast, have a great education, you want to do everything, yeah, this is going to be a great fit. If you respond to my energy, like my happy-go-lucky energy, like that's going to be a good fit. If you're kind of like flatter and piss on a rock, as my dad would say, it's probably ain't going to be a good fit, right? And if it doesn't work out, like same with you, I've got some pretty good colleagues around the way that I'll put you in touch with if I think it's going to be a good fit. And I'm very humbled, and I really appreciate your shout out to me and your advocacy of me. And there's a lot of other great coaches out there that aren't at the name brand programs out there that are getting great opportunities, because, you know, at the end of the day, nowadays, like a 24-2 girl is a dime a dozen for a lot of these coaches, right? You might maybe walk on at some of these programs, but if you do a good enough job in the recruiting process to identify that a 24-2.
Hey, repeat that one more time. Repeat that 24-2 is a dime a dozen. Say that one more time.
That's just what it is. Again, I'm not trying to speak.
I appreciate you. I'm actually gonna clip this and I'm gonna post that, because I need my babies to understand you're not as valuable as you seem you are, because they don't. I told my kids yesterday.
That is not to dismiss
they're running
anyone
21s
and their endeavors and how hard they're working and how fast. Like 24-2 is still moving in high school. But
no diss. It's still moving, bro, but it's not like you're going to make big damage in the NCs with 24.
You might. That's
you might be a quarter mile, 800 right with that. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just a matter of, when that's the case, if you have these dreams of going to the Olympics or running really fast, like, it can't just be the program, because they're just not going to have time for you, right? They're going to have that young lady that was in the transfer portal that's already run 23.1 to 23.5, that is already ready made, that they just want to polish off, right? That's just what it is, right? And for me, like, for our position,
it is.
You know, I don't get a lot of the quote unquote elites. I recruit them. I might get into the final 2 or 3, which is great. We're going to get one soon enough. But at the end of the day, all the kids that I have, like especially the first and second years, every single one has a chip on their shoulder. You know why? Because they didn't get the love from the Power Fives that they probably should have, because they didn't break 47, or they only ran 10.6 even though they ran 6.68. Or, you know what? Yeah, that's great, but you're going to be the 7th guy on our relay. Well, I kind of like the fact they got a chip on the shoulder, and we have identified each other as a great fit, a great personality, and like, hey, we're going to ride together. We're going to do some damage, right?
Yeah. I think that's the best part about it. I mean, even like I said, with Joel and all these, you know, we had a strong recruitment class. We still have a strong recruitment class this year, and we're going to have a strong one next year. But just the process was really, and even with kids that I don't train anymore, or kids that I know from the area, like Coach Goodman's on there. He's called me before about kids that are not even my kids that I've never trained. He's like, what do you think about this girl? And I'm like, yo, that girl's giving us hell, man. That girl's solid. You know what I mean? And then he asked me about, like, the style that I see. Like, what do you see in her when y'all go against her? Like, what have you heard about her locally? Like, what kind of a kid is she? What's the vibe? Because at the end of the day, you're dealing with people. You know what I mean? We looking at numbers and times and looking at body builds and all this other stuff, you know, race models and things. But at the end of the day, if you can't connect with those individuals, then you need to just move them off to somewhere where somebody can connect, because they're going to
I'm going to end you with this, because I just saw one that's exactly what we're talking about. The question was, how does one become elite if they're never given a chance? And my response to that is, that's a you problem, because this goes exactly to what we're talking about. That goes exactly to what we're talking about. You find the person that believes in you and your ability and believes that they can help you. And you find the person that you think can help you, and you can help that university and that program. You have every opportunity in the world to be elite. Every single opportunity in the world to be elite. Elite is a mindset. Excellence is a mindset. It's a verb. It's not an adjective. Like, everyone remembers, like, I'm giving all praise to her. Tandra Buford Bailey, Texas, right? But guess what? She got Ashley Spencer to 50 flat on a flat 200-meter track.
Yes.
One of the best kept secrets in the NCAA is Chris Parner at Minnesota State, but don't nobody want to talk to him because he's D2 in Minnesota. Man, come on. Like, there are some elite level coaches as far as ability, personality, if you just give them a chance. And there are some elite 24-2, 21-5 kids out there. And you will get a chance with the right coach that believes in you and your ability. Toby Makayawa had every Power 5 coach that he spoke to before me say, we can't give you this, you're only a 60 guy. Our first conversation together, Toby and I talked about 9-9, because that's what I saw when I looked at the film, when I got his background.
And I'm gonna tell you the story. I was there to see it myself. He was talking about it the year of. He said, "This is what he's gonna do."
I mean,
we was there to see it happen the first time.
I mean,
at Texas
elite
Relays.
is now Coastal Carolina.
Right.
10-6 is Coastal Carolina. Come on now.
Right.
How does one get to be elite if they're never given a chance? Dude, you will have a chance, and if you both give each other a chance.
Facts. Maximize your opportunities, man, and then do your due diligence. That's the key. Do your due diligence. Don't make it. It's up to you. You can make it from anywhere. This is track and field.
Yeah, that's
it's just a track.
That's how you get an
training.
NCAA champion.
All it is. You can make it.
Indoors, top 5-time all-time out of South Carolina, upstate. Like,
Yep. Straight up. Shout out to Coach Goodman. Shout out to Coach Goodman. He out here. We got all the coaches in here today, dog. Well, shoot, let me go ahead. Let me head out to this farewell party for the Germans, man. Thank you, Coach Gay, for coming out here. Thank you, Coach Pep. Man, happy holidays. If I don't get to talk to y'all beforehand, man, I always love you guys, man, and just be safe.